The first mistake I made that night was thinking the glowing red sign meant safety. It was 1:17 in the morning, and rain was coming down hard enough to turn the streetlights into blurry halos above Monroe Avenue. My sneakers slapped against the wet sidewalk. My lungs burned. My phone had 3% battery, 27 missed calls, and one message I did not open because I already knew what Ryan Cole wanted to say. Come back. Apologize. Stop embarrassing me. Stop acting like you have choices. I had heard those words so many times they had started living inside my bones. But that night, something in me finally cracked open. I left his apartment without my coat, without my purse, without the little gold bracelet he had bought me, and then used like proof that I owed him gratitude forever. I just ran, past the closed laundromat, past the gas station with the flickering sign, past a couple arguing beside a parked pickup truck who stopped talking when they saw my face. I did not know where I was going. I only knew I could not go back. Then I saw it. A black awning. A narrow door. Red neon glowing through the rain. The Black Saint. It sounded like a place where nobody asked questions. I grabbed the handle and pushed my way inside. The warmth hit me first. Then the smell of whiskey, cedarwood, and expensive smoke that had already burned out. Then the silence. Not quiet. Silence. The kind that falls when a room decides you do not belong in it. The music stopped mid-note. A bartender froze with one hand around a glass. 3 men in dark suits turned from a corner booth. Another man near the door lowered his eyes, not to me, but past me, as if waiting for permission to breathe. I stood there soaked to the skin, water dripping from my hair onto the polished floor, my gray sweatshirt clinging cold against my arms, and for one stupid second, I thought I had walked into a private party. Then I saw the small gold letters etched beneath the bar mirror. Cross family only. My stomach dropped. I took one step backward. The door behind me opened again before I could reach it. Ryan came in smiling like he had already won. "Olivia," he said, soft enough for strangers, sharp enough for me. "You're making this harder than it has to be." My name in his mouth made my whole body go still. He reached for my wrist. He always reached like the world was supposed to move out of his way. But before his fingers touched me, a glass settled onto the bar at the far end of the room. One small sound. Clean. Controlled. Final. Every man in that place looked toward the shadows. I followed their eyes and saw him for the first time. Damian Cross sat alone beneath a low amber light, wearing a black suit that looked untouched by the storm, his pale hand resting near an untouched drink. He had dark blonde hair brushed back from a face too calm to be kind, and blue eyes so cold they made the room feel smaller. He did not stand. He did not raise his voice. He only looked at Ryan's hand, then at me. "Who let her in?" he asked. Nobody answered. Ryan laughed once, but the sound came out wrong. Nervous. Thin. "Sorry, man. She's with me." Damian's eyes moved to mine. Not my wet clothes. Not my shaking hands. Just my eyes, like he was reading the truth I had been too tired to say. "Is that true?" he asked. My throat closed. Ryan stepped closer. "Don't start this, Olivia." And somehow, that was the sentence that saved me. Not because it was cruel. Not because it was loud. But because, in that silent room, everyone heard what I had been living with. I swallowed hard and whispered. "No." Damian Cross leaned back in his chair. The bar seemed to exhale around him. "Then she's not with you," he said. Ryan's smile disappeared. "You don't know what this is." Damian finally stood, and the room changed with him. He was taller than I expected, maybe 6'3", broad in a way that did not need to prove itself. He walked toward us slowly, every step measured, every eye lowering as he passed. When he stopped beside me, he did not touch me. He did not block me. He simply stood close enough that Ryan had to look up. "I know she ran into my bar at 1:17 in the morning," Damian said. "I know she's scared. And I know you followed her through the rain after she tried to leave." My heart beat so hard I could hear it over the storm outside. Ryan looked at me like I had betrayed him by being believed. Damian turned his head slightly, his voice dropping lower. "In my bar, men don't corner women who are trying to breathe." For the first time that night, Ryan took a step back. And for the first time in months, I did not. Ryan stared at Damian like he was trying to decide whether pride was worth the fear crawling up his throat. I knew that look. I had seen it in Ryan before, when a restaurant manager corrected him, when a parking attendant asked him to move his car, when anyone smaller than his ego dared to say no. He opened his mouth, ready to turn charm into threat, But Damien raised one finger. Not high, not dramatic, just enough. The bartender set his glass down without a sound. The men in the corner booth stood. Ryan noticed. His shoulders tightened. "This is a private situation," he said, trying to sound calm. Damien did not blink. "Then you should not have brought it into my place." The rain battered the windows behind us. My wet sleeves clung to my arms. My fingers were so cold I could barely feel them, but I felt everything else. Ryan's stare on my face. Damien's silence beside me. The entire room waiting for me to decide whether I was still afraid enough to obey. "Olivia," Ryan said, softer now. That was the voice that always came after he had scared me. The voice that asked me to forget. The voice that made apologies feel like traps wrapped in velvet. "Let us go home. You are tired. You are confused." I almost laughed. Not because it was funny, but because I was tired. Tired of being told my pain was confusion. Tired of being treated like a locked door he had every right to open. Damien looked at me again. "Do you want to leave with him?" he asked. No one had asked me that in so long. What I wanted. Not what would keep the peace. Not what would make the night easier. What I wanted. My lips parted, but the first sound came out broken. I tried again. No, Ryan's face changed. A small thing, but I saw it. The mask slipped. "You are embarrassing yourself," he said. Damien stepped. Half an inch forward. That was all. Ryan stopped talking. "She answered," Damien said. "You heard her." "You have no idea who I am," Ryan snapped. The room grew colder. Damien tilted his head, and something almost like amusement touched his mouth without reaching his eyes. "I know exactly who you are." Ryan went pale so fast I thought the light had shifted. Damien reached into his jacket, not fast, not threatening, and pulled out a folded receipt. He placed it on the bar between them. I saw Ryan's name printed across the top. A private tab. A debt. A signature I recognized because I had watched him sign birthday cards with the same careless slant. My stomach turned. "You have been drinking in my bar for 8 months, Damien said. Charging bottles you could not afford. Talking too loudly. Borrowing from men who do not forget names." Ryan swallowed. "That has nothing to do with her. Tonight, it does." I looked at Ryan, then at the receipt, and another piece of my world broke loose. He had not chased me into a random place. He knew this bar. He knew whose door I had run through. Maybe he had known the whole time. Maybe the cage had been bigger than I understood. Damien turned toward one of his men. "Walk Mr. Cole outside. Make sure he finds his car. Make sure he does not find this door again tonight." No one grabbed Ryan. No one needed to. 2 men simply moved toward him with the calm certainty of people who did not waste motion. Ryan looked past them at me. "You will regret this." I believed him for 1 second. Then Damien spoke from beside me, quiet as winter. "No, she will remember this." Ryan left because the room made leaving the only smart thing he had done all night. The door opened. Rain rushed in. Then it closed, and the silence returned, softer this time, but still heavy. I realized I was shaking only when Damien lowered his gaze to my hands. "Are you hurt?" he asked. The question was so simple that it almost undid me. I shook my head too quickly. His eyes moved to my wrist. The sleeve had slipped up when I wiped rain from my face. Pale skin. Faint marks. Evidence I had spent months hiding beneath fabric and excuses. I pulled the sleeve down. Damien did not reach for me. That mattered. More than I wanted it to. "There is a room in the back," he said. "It has a lock on the inside. A dry sweater. Tea. A phone charger." I stared at him. "Am I allowed to leave?" He held my gaze. "The front door is behind you." My breath caught. "Then why help me?" For the first time, Damien Cross looked away. Not because he was weak. Because the question had found something human in him. "Because you came in here looking like the world had taught you to apologize for surviving," he said. "And I do not like what that says about the world." I followed Damien Cross through a narrow hallway behind the bar because the other choice was standing in the main room with every eye pretending not to watch me fall apart. The hallway smelled like old brick, lemon polish, and rain carried in on my clothes. My sneakers squeaked against the dark wood floor. Every sound felt too loud. Every shadow felt like it had a name. Damien walked in front of me, not too close, not too far, as if he understood that distance could be a kind of mercy. At the end of the hall, he opened a door and stepped aside. "Inside," he said. I hesitated. That one word should have scared me. It did scare me. But then I saw the room. Not a basement. Not a trap. A small private office with green-shaded lamps. shelves of old books, a brown leather couch, and tall windows looking down over the wet street. There was a desk with papers stacked in perfect lines. A black coat hung over the back of a chair. A silver key sat in the lock, on the inside of the door. Damien noticed where I was looking. Lock it if you need to. I stared at him. Why would you give me the key? Because a locked door means something different when you are the one holding it. I did not know what to do with that sentence. It landed too gently, and I was not used to gentle things from men who sounded like commands. I walked in slowly, keeping one hand near the edge of the desk, as if furniture could anchor me. Damien stayed by the doorway. He did not follow me. And until I nodded, and even then, he stopped near the lamp, leaving half the room between us. There is a sweater in the cabinet, he said. Bathroom through that door. Phone charger on the desk. Tea will be here in a minute. You keep sweaters for strangers who run into your bar? I asked. My voice sounded sharper than I meant it to. He looked at me for a long moment. No. I keep them for my sister when she visits and refuses to dress for New York weather. That answer surprised me enough to make my eyes burn. A sister. Weather. Ordinary details inside a world that did not feel ordinary at all. I turned away before he could see too much. The bathroom mirror was cruel. My light brown hair was flattened by rain. Mascara had smudged beneath my eyes. My face looked pale, almost transparent, like fear had drained the color out of me. I changed into the gray sweater from the cabinet. It was too big, soft at the wrists, smelling faintly like cedar and clean laundry. When I came back out, Damien had placed a white mug on the desk. Steam rose from it in careful curls. He was standing by the window, hands in his pockets, watching the street below. Ryan will wait outside, I said. He always waits. Not tonight. You sound very sure. I am. That should have comforted me, but it did not. Not completely. Control spoken softly was still control. I wrapped both hands around the mug and let the warmth hurt my fingers. I do not want another man deciding what happens to me. Damien turned then. Something in his face shifted, not anger, not insult. Recognition. Good, he said. I blinked. Good. Yes. Hold on to that. I looked down at the tea because looking at him felt too complicated. Ryan used to say he was protecting me. Men like that use protection as a prettier word for ownership. My throat tightened. And what do you use it for? The room went still. Rain slid down the windows in silver lines. Damien did not answer quickly. He studied me like the truth mattered more than the impression. A debt, he said finally. Not yours. Mine. I frowned. What does that mean? Before he could answer, someone knocked once. A man in a black suit opened the door. Just enough to speak quietly. Mr. Cross. Cole is making calls from his car. Damien's expression cooled. To whom? The man glanced at me, then back at Damien. To Vincent Hale. I did not know the name, but Damien did. I saw it in the way his jaw tightened by almost nothing. A tiny movement. A dangerous one. Keep eyes on him, Damien said. No contact. The door closed. My pulse lifted. Who is Vincent Hale? Damien looked at me, and for the first time since I entered his bar, I saw something beneath the calm. Not fear. Calculation. Someone Ryan should not know. My hands tightened around the mug. So this was not an accident. Damien's silence answered before his mouth did. And suddenly, the room with the inside lock felt less like shelter and more like the center of a storm I had not known I was running into. The name Vincent Hale moved through the room like a cold draft, touching everything without showing its face. Damien did not explain it right away. Men like him never gave away the center of a thing until they had measured every shadow around it. He walked to the desk, picked up a black phone, and pressed one button. Pull every camera facing Monroe Avenue, he said. Start 1 hour before she arrived. I want every plate, every reflection, every man who looked twice. He ended the call and set the phone down with perfect care. My tea had gone warm between my hands. I had stopped drinking it. You said Ryan should not know him, I said. Who is he? Damien looked toward the rain-streaked window. Below us, the street glowed with wet pavement and red neon. Vincent Hale runs money through half the clubs on the Lower East Side. The half I do not own. So he is your enemy. He wants to be. That answer should have sounded arrogant. It did not. It sounded tired, like power had a weight no one could see from the outside. I set the mug down before my hands could shake enough to spill it. And Ryan called him after following me here. Damien said nothing. That silence was worse than any answer. My mind began lining up details I had ignored because I was too busy surviving them. Ryan asking which streets I used to walk home from my late shift at the bookstore. Ryan pretending to be interested when I mentioned the old bar with the red sign. Ryan insisting we move closer to Monroe Avenue because he liked the neighborhood. Ryan laughing when I asked why men in expensive cars kept parking outside our building. I backed away from the desk. He knew, I whispered. Damien's eyes sharpened. Knew what? That I might run here. Saying it out loud made the room tilt. He pushed me all week. Every argument. Every accusation. Tonight felt different, like he wanted me scared enough to leave, but not smart enough to choose where I went. Damien's face changed slowly, the calm becoming something harder and quieter. Olivia. I hated the way my name sounded in his voice. Careful. Protective. Like he already understood something I was only beginning to touch. No, I said, lifting one hand. Do not say it like that. Do not make me feel small before you tell me the truth. He stopped. For a man who could make an entire bar go silent with one look, he stopped because I asked him to. That should not have mattered. It did. I think Ryan used you, Damien said. I think he wanted you inside my bar. Upset. Noticed. Memorable. I think he wanted my men focused on you while someone else watched how we responded. The words settled over me one by one. Not loud. Not dramatic. Heavy. So I was bait. Damien's jaw tightened. You were a person he was willing to place in danger to buy favor with a man who does not protect anyone but himself. My chest hurt in a way that had nothing to do with running. All those months I had called Ryan complicated, stressed, misunderstood. I had softened him in my own mind because admitting the truth meant admitting how long I had been alone beside him. I turned toward the window so Damien would not see my face break. Outside, a black sedan rolled slowly past the bar, its headlights sliding across the glass like searching fingers. Damien saw it too. He moved to the side of the window, never in front of it. Stepped back from the glass. His voice was quiet, but something in it made me obey before pride could argue. Is that him? I asked. No, then who? Someone curious. The phone on the desk buzzed. Damien answered. He listened for 3 seconds, and in those 3 seconds, I watched the man everyone feared become still enough to frighten the room itself. Lock the front, he said. No one enters. No one leaves without my word. He hung up. I stared at him. You said I could leave. He turned to me immediately. You can. You just said no one leaves. My people, he said. Not you. That is a convenient difference. A flash of something crossed his face. Respect, maybe. Or surprise. You are right to question it. I swallowed. I am right to question you. Yes. The answer came too easily, and that unsettled me more than if he had argued. I wanted him to be simple. A villain. A rescuer. A dangerous man with a clean label I could understand. But Damien Cross stood in front of me with power in both hands and restraint in every movement, and I did not know what to do with that. I cannot go back to Ryan, I said. No, I cannot stay here if I am just another piece on your board. Damien stepped away from the window, stopping several feet from me. Then do not stay as a piece, he said. Stay as the only person in this building I will not lie to. My breath caught. Behind him, thunder rolled over the city, low and distant. For the first time that night, I understood that I had not found shelter. I had found the truth, and the truth had locked every door but the one I was brave enough to open. I wanted to believe Damien when he said he would not lie to me, but belief was not something I handed out anymore. It had been trained out of me slowly, one broken promise at a time. I stood in his office with his sister's sweater hanging loose over my hands, listening to the locked-down bar breathe beneath the floorboards, and wondered how many women before me had mistaken a quiet man for a safe one. Damien seemed to know exactly where my mind had gone. Sit down if you want, he said. Stand if that feels better. I stayed standing. Show me what you know. He gave one short nod, then turned the monitor on his desk toward me. For camera feeds filled the screen. The front entrance. The sidewalk. The alley beside the building. Monroe Avenue shining black under the rain. My own face appeared on one feed, pale and frantic as I ran toward the door 20 minutes earlier. Watching myself hurt more than living it had. I looked so small, so desperate, so easy to move around like a piece someone else had chosen. Then Ryan appeared behind me, walking fast but not running. That was the first thing that made my skin go cold. He had not looked panicked. He had not looked like a man losing someone he loved. He looked patient. like he was waiting for a scene to begin. Damien said nothing. He let me see it. That silence was its own kind of mercy. On the screen, Ryan stopped under the awning before coming inside. He looked across the street. A dark sedan idled at the curb. Its window rolled down halfway. Ryan lifted 2 fingers, quick and subtle, a signal I never would have noticed if I had not been watching for Betrayal. The sedan pulled away. My stomach folded in on itself. Play it again, I whispered. Damien did. Then again. On the 3rd time, I stopped feeling shocked and started feeling angry. Not hot anger. Not the kind that made people shout. Something cleaner. Sharper. He planned it, I said. Yes. He wanted your attention on me. Yes. And now this Vincent Hale knows I am connected to you. Damien's eyes held mine. He knows you were inside my bar. That is not the same thing. I almost smiled, but there was no humor in me. Men like that care about the difference. No, the honesty cut deeper than comfort would have. I moved away from the screen and pressed my palms against the edge of the desk. The wood felt smooth, expensive, real. I needed real. What happens now? I move you somewhere safe for the night. My head snapped up. No, he did not react, but the room seemed to. Olivia. No. I said again, stronger this time. You said you would not lie to me. Do not start by wrapping orders in soft words. His mouth closed. Good. I stepped around the desk, my bare feet sinking into the dark rug because I had left my wet sneakers by the bathroom door. I am tired of men deciding that my fear makes me portable. Ryan moved me with guilt. You will not move me with protection. Damien looked at me for a long moment, and I saw the fight in him. Not against me. Against himself. Against every instinct that told him control was the same as care. What do you want? He asked finally. The question nearly broke me again. I breathed in. The office smelled like tea, rain, and old paper. Downstairs, a low murmur passed through the bar and faded. I want to call my friend Maya. I want to tell her I am alive. I want to ride to my apartment so I can get my identification, my work badge, and the cash I keep behind the kitchen vent. I want someone watching the building from outside, not standing over my shoulder. And I want to know why Vincent Hale wanted a woman like me inside your bar badly enough to use Ryan. Damien listened without interrupting. Not once. When I finished, he looked almost proud, though I could not understand why. Done, he said. All of it. All of it. I narrowed my eyes. Just like that. No, he said. Not just like that. It will be difficult, risky, and inconvenient. Then why agree? Damien walked to the door and turned the key, unlocking it from the inside before stepping away. The gesture was simple, quiet. It changed the air between us. Because you are not cargo, he said. And because the first man who taught me power never understood that. I have spent my life trying not to become him. For a second, I saw him not as the man who owned the bar, not as the name that made Ryan go pale, but as someone standing in the ruins of his own inheritance, trying to choose a different shape. My phone buzzed on the desk where it had been charging. The screen lit up with a new message from Ryan. 2 words. Come outside. Then another message followed, from an unknown number. Miss Bennett. Asked Damien Cross what happened to the last woman he tried to protect. The message sat on my screen like a hand pressed against my throat. Asked Damien Cross what happened to the last woman he tried to protect. I read it once. Then again. The room did not move, but everything inside it changed shape. Damien had gone completely still. Not the calm stillness he used downstairs, the kind that made grown men lower their voices. This was different. Older. Quieter. Like someone had opened a locked drawer inside him, and he hated what was in it. Who was she? I asked. He did not pretend not to understand. I respected that, even while it scared me. Claire Whitman, he said. The name came out carefully, as if it still had sharp edges. She managed accounts for Vincent Hale. She found records that could have ended his business in this city. And she came to you. No. I found her first. I waited. The rain softened against the windows, turning from a storm into a steady whisper. Downstairs, the bar remained locked and quiet, but I could feel the building listening. Damien walked to the window, then stopped before he reached it, remembering his own order to keep away from the glass. That small correction told me more than any confession. Even powerful men could be haunted by habit. Claire wanted to go to the police, he said. I told her she would be safer with me. I told her I knew how men like Vincent thought. I told her to trust my plan. His mouth tightened. She did. My fingers closed around the phone. What happened? I hid her so well that I hid the truth from her too. I moved her from place to place, changed her phone, changed her name, kept telling myself I was giving her safety. He looked at me then, and his blue eyes were not cold anymore. They were tired. I never asked her what safety meant to her. By the time I understood the difference, she had already made her own choice and walked out. Did Vincent find her? Yes. The word was quiet. He did not dress it up. He did not turn it into a story where he looked noble. She survived, he added, before my mind could fall into the worst place. But she left New York. She left everyone. She sent one letter 6 months later. One line. I should have stayed afraid of him. It would have been easier. What did it say? Damien looked down at the floor. Protection without freedom is just another room with a better lock. The sentence reached across the office and found me exactly where I was trying not to hurt. I thought of Ryan calling jealousy love. I thought of every time I had apologized for needing air. I thought of Damien unlocking the office door and stepping away from it like the gesture cost him something. That is why you let me decide, I said. That is why I am trying. Not promising. Not pretending he had already become a good man because he knew the right words. I trusted that more than comfort. My phone buzzed again. Ryan. Then the unknown number. 2 names glowing on the same cracked screen, like my old life and my new danger had agreed to take turns. Damien did not reach for the phone. He waited. I opened the message myself. It was from the unknown number. Come alone, Olivia, and no one else has to pay for your mistake. Attached was a photo of my apartment building. My window. My little kitchen curtain with yellow flowers. My breath left me. Damien saw my face before I said a word. They are at your building, he said. I nodded, but something strange happened inside me. Fear came first. Then anger rose beneath it, steady and bright. They had stood outside my home, taken a picture of the place where I kept cereal above the fridge, books stacked beside the couch, cash hidden behind the kitchen vent. They wanted me small. They wanted me running again. I looked at Damien. I still need my identification. His eyes narrowed slightly. Olivia. No. Listen to me. My voice shook, but it did not break. You said I am not cargo. You said you would not lie. Then do not make the next move over my head. He held my gaze for one long second, then nodded. Tell me what you want. I picked up my wet sneakers from beside the bathroom door and sat down to put them on. My hands were steadier now. I want to call Maya. I want your people watching from outside like I said. I want to go to my apartment, get my things, and leave through the back stairs. And I want Ryan to see me walk out by choice, not be carried out by fear. For the first time that night, Damien Cross almost smiled. Not because it was funny, because he understood. Then we do it your way, he said. The office door opened before I could answer. The man in the black suit stood there, face controlled but urgent. Mr. Cross, Ryan Cole just walked back to the front entrance. My blood turned cold. Damien's expression went dark. Alone? The man shook his head. No. He brought someone asking for Olivia by name. For one impossible second, I thought the man at the door meant Vincent Hale. My mind built him out of shadows before I ever saw his face. Expensive coat. Patient smile. The kind of man who would send a photo of my apartment window and call fear a message. But when I stepped into the hallway behind Damien, the voice rising from downstairs was not a man's voice. It was Maya's. Olivia. My heart dropped so fast I had to grab the railing. Maya Reed, my best friend since freshman year of community college, the only person who still knew how I took my coffee and how to read my silence, stood inside the black Saint with rain on her curls and terror in her eyes. Ryan stood a few feet behind her, wearing concern like a borrowed jacket. It did not fit him. See? He called up, looking straight at me. I brought someone you trust. The words should have sounded kind. They sounded rehearsed. Maya looked up and saw me in the oversized gray sweater, barefoot in damp sneakers, with Damien Cross standing one step in front of me, but not blocking me. Her face crumpled with relief. You scared me. I got a text from your phone saying you needed help. I looked at the phone in my hand. I had never sent it. Damien's gaze shifted to one of his men. No words. The man moved toward the back hall. Ryan, I said, and my voice came out flatter than I expected. What did you do? He lifted both hands like I was being unfair. I was worried. You ran off in the middle of the night. You were not thinking clearly. There it was again. The little cage hidden inside soft language. I started down the stairs. Damien turned slightly. Olivia. I stopped. Not because he ordered me, but because I heard the warning beneath my name. If I stay up here, He gets to keep using people I love to move me around, I said quietly. Damien's jaw tightened, but he stepped aside. That single step gave me more courage than any promise could have. I walked down slowly, one hand on the rail, feeling every eye in the room follow me. The bar looked different from below now, less like a trap, more like a stage where all the masks had started slipping. Maya rushed toward me, but stopped when she saw my face. You did not text me, she whispered. I shook my head. She turned on Ryan. You said she did. Ryan's expression flickered. Her phone must have been acting up. I was just trying to help. No, I said. The word landed cleanly. Ryan looked at me, irritated now, the concern thinning. Olivia, do not do this in front of strangers. They are not strangers to this situation anymore. Damien reached the bottom of the stairs behind me, silent as a shadow with a heartbeat. Ryan noticed him and forced a laugh. This is ridiculous. She is my girlfriend. She had a bad night. Everyone needs to stop turning it into some kind of drama. Maya stepped closer to me. Are you safe with him? She asked, looking at Damien, not Ryan. Damien did not answer for me. He looked at me and waited. That mattered so much it almost hurt. I am safer than I was before I walked in, I said. But that does not mean I am done asking questions. Maya nodded, accepting the whole complicated truth because that was what real love did. It did not demand a simpler version. The front door opened again. No one entered. Only the wind. A white envelope slid across the threshold and stopped on the black floor between us. Every person in the bar went still. Ryan's face lost every trace of color. Damien looked at the envelope, then at Ryan. Pick it up, he said. Ryan shook his head once. Barely. That was when I understood. The message was not for Damien. It was not even for me. It was proof. Damien's man lifted the envelope with a napkin and opened it. Inside was a single photograph, printed glossy and clear. Ryan sitting in a parked car across from my building. Beside him, a man with silver hair I had never seen before. On the back, written in black ink, were 6 words. She was never yours to lose. Maya gripped my hand. Ryan looked at the door like he wanted to. Vanished through it. Damien's voice cut through the room, calm and final. Vincent Hale just made his first mistake. I looked at the photograph, then at Ryan, and something inside me stopped trembling. No, I said. Everyone turned toward me. Even Damien. I lifted my eyes. His first mistake was thinking I would stay bait once I learned the trap had my name on it. I expected Damien to take over after I said it. Men like him were built for rooms like that. Rooms full of fear, leverage, secrets, and people waiting for one powerful voice to tell them where to stand. But Damien Cross did not speak. He looked at me from across the black floor, and for the first time, the silence did not belong to him. It belonged to me. Ryan noticed it too. His eyes moved between us, searching for the old Olivia, the one who would smooth everything over before someone got uncomfortable. She was not there anymore. Maybe she had been left somewhere on Monroe Avenue, washed clean by the rain. Maybe she was still in that apartment with the yellow kitchen curtain, waiting for permission to leave a life that had never been kind to her. I did not know. I only knew I was done mistaking survival for obedience. Maya, I said, keeping my eyes on Ryan. Did the text say where to meet me? Her hand tightened around mine. Here. It said you were scared and could not talk. Ryan's mouth opened. I was helping. You used her, I said. You used me. You used everything I ever told you when I thought you were listening because you loved me. The words came out calm, and that scared him more than shouting would have. Damien's men stood at the edges of the room, still as dark furniture. The bartender had not moved from behind the counter. Outside, rain traced silver lines down the front windows, turning the city into something distant and unreal. Ryan stepped toward me, then stopped when Damien's gaze touched him. Not a threat, just a reminder that this room no longer bent around Ryan's moods. Olivia, you do not understand what these people are, Ryan said. You think he is saving you? He owns this place. He owns half the night in this city. I looked at Damien. He did not deny it. That mattered. Lies had always come wrapped in reassurance. Truth stood there in a black suit and let itself be ugly. Maybe, I said. But he asked me what I wanted. You never did. Ryan flinched like the sentence had found the one place his confidence could bruise. Maya inhaled beside me, soft and shaky. Liv, she whispered. What do you want now? Such a small question. Such a terrifying one. I looked at the photograph again. Ryan in the car. Vincent Hale beside him. my building in the background, my life reduced to an address and a plan. Then I looked at Damien. I want my apartment watched from the outside. I want Maya taken somewhere safe, but only if she agrees. I want Ryan to answer one question. Damien nodded once. Ask it. Ryan laughed under his breath. This is insane. I stepped closer, not enough for him to touch me, just enough that he could not pretend I was still hiding behind anyone. Why me? His face tightened. What? Why did Vincent Hale need me inside this bar? Ryan looked toward the door, then toward Damien, then back at me. The answer was in his fear before it reached his mouth. Because Cross notices broken things, he said bitterly. Hale said he always does. Stray dogs. Lost women. People who look like second chances. The room went painfully quiet. I did not look at Damien, but I felt the words hit him. Claire Whitman was in the room now too, not in body, but in memory. Protection without freedom. A better lock. Ryan kept talking because silence made him smaller. Hale wanted to see if he still had the same weakness. Weakness. That word should have made me feel ashamed. Instead, it made something bright and fierce rise in my chest. I turned to Damien then. He was watching me, not like a weakness, not like bait, not like something to own, like a choice standing on two shaking feet. Well, I said, my voice low but clear. Then Vincent Hale misunderstood both of us. Damien's expression changed by the smallest degree. Enough. How? He asked. I looked back at Ryan. Because I am not here to be saved from my life. I am here to take it back. Ryan swallowed. Maya's hand found mine again. Damien stepped beside me, leaving space between us, letting me be seen. For the first time all night, I did not feel protected because a dangerous man stood near me. I felt protected because he did not stand in my way. Damien did not ask Ryan another question. He did not need to. The truth had already entered the room, ugly and plain, and it had no place left to hide. Ryan stood near the front door with rainwater shining on his shoes, looking smaller than I remembered, not because Damien's men surrounded him from a distance, not because the Black Saint belonged to someone more dangerous than him, but because his power had only ever worked when I was willing to doubt myself. I was not willing anymore. Maya leaves first, I said. Maya turned toward me immediately. I am not leaving you. You are, I said, softer now. Because I need one person I love to be out of this room and safe enough to answer the phone when I call. Her eyes filled, but she nodded. That was the difference between love and control. Love could hate your choice and still respect that it was yours. Damien looked to the bartender. Call Mrs. Cross. I glanced at him. Your sister. She runs a hotel uptown. Private entrance. Good security. Better coffee than mine. Maya gave a shaky laugh that almost broke me. A man in a dark coat opened the side door, and Maya squeezed my hand before letting go. You call me in 10 minutes, she whispered. 5, I said. She disappeared into the back hallway, and the room felt colder without her. Ryan saw it, and tried one last time to reach the version of me he understood. Olivia, think carefully. You walk out with him, and you are choosing people who will ruin your life. I looked at him, really looked at him. The wet hair, the expensive watch he could not afford, the face that used to make my stomach twist between hope and dread. No, I said. You already tried to do that. I am choosing people who are letting me choose. Damien's phone buzzed. He read the message once, then turned the screen toward me instead of hiding it. A photo from outside my apartment building. 2 black cars across the street. Men I did not know standing under the awning near my front steps. My yellow kitchen curtain in. The 3rd floor window, bright and innocent against the dark. They are waiting, he said. Then we do not go through the front, I answered. He studied me for a second, and I understood what he was doing. Not testing me. Making sure fear was not speaking louder than I was. There is a rear alley behind your building? He asked. Yes. Service stairs behind the laundry room. The lock sticks. You have to lift the door before you pull. Good. He looked at Ryan. Who told Vincent about that building? Ryan's mouth tightened. I do not know. Damien said nothing. He simply waited. Silence did what anger never could. Ryan looked away first. I gave him the address. That is all. That is all. 3 little words people use when they want betrayal to look smaller in their own hands. I felt the last piece of whatever I had once loved in him fall quiet inside me. Not die. Not explode. Just stop asking to be rescued. Thank you, I said. Ryan blinked. For what? For making it clear. His face twisted with confusion, but I was already done giving him my attention. I turned to Damien. I still want my identification, my work badge, and my cash. After that, I want to file a report with someone who cannot be bought by Vincent Hale. Damien nodded. I know a federal prosecutor who owes my sister a favor. I gave him a look. That sounds convenient. It is complicated, he said, but legal. For the first time that night, I almost smiled. Not because any of this was funny. Because I was standing in a mafia-owned bar at 2 in the morning, wearing another woman's sweater, planning an escape route with a man the city whispered about, and somehow I felt more like myself than I had in months. Damien stepped toward the side exit, then stopped and looked back at me. He did not offer his hand. He did not say I belonged to him. He did not promise to fix my life with power. He only opened the door and waited. Rain breathed into the room, cold and clean. Behind me, Ryan said my name one more time. I did not turn around. I walked past Damien into the alley, into the wet dark, into the first choice that had felt fully mine. And as the door closed, behind us, I realized the night had not saved me because a powerful man found me. It saved me because, for once, power stepped aside and let me find myself.